Welcome to another episode of Billionaire Brunch. We're your hosts, Kyle Worldwide,
MD French.
and we coming to you again with another special guest. He goes by the name Cyrus Gray. And Cyrus, go ahead and actually, first off, bro, thank you for these shirts. These shirts right here are tough. Oh, I love
Black and
looks,
white
man.
edition.
The black and white edition, right?
Stand up, man.
Now,
Do a whole
what's the
360.
backstory on these shirts, real quick?
So my company, we hosted an event with DJ Bubba of 600 Entertainment, and a part of what we were providing was the South by shirt. So that's just the South by shirt for the event. It was
South by
free juice
Southwest?
for South by Southwest.
Dang, man. What?
Yes, sir.
How'd you get plugged in with South by Southwest?
We ran across Bubba a few times, and I manage artists, so I travel a lot. I'm in Dallas, Houston, all over just for what I do. And while I was in Dallas, I locked in with Bubba through my boy Draco. And once we locked in, we just, we sat down a few times, just explored each other's minds, just seeing where we was at. And this is the fourth time he's done Free Juice, and every other year he's just kind of been him.
Free Juice is the name of the event.
Yeah, it's the name of the event, Free Juice.
Is that real popular out there?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, it was live. It was live for sure. So when he told us about it, me and my team were like, bro, let us help you make this better. And he was with it, so that's what we did. Shout out Bubba for giving us that opportunity. Big Extra Plug was there. Rosama, Young Hood, Splurge. It was live. It was live for sure.
So, well, look, before I have you really go in and introduce yourself, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, just kind of break the ice. You ready? Now, they're credit related. All right. So don't be afraid if you don't get them. It's all good. It's just questions I'd like to ask, just so I can continue to educate the audience. You know what I'm saying? So, you ready for the first one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. The first question: what does APR stand for?
I can't tell you.
You have an idea?
Not even off the
even
top of
an
my
idea?
head. I know what APR is, but I can't tell you the name.
What is APR?
I can't tell you the name. I mean, yeah, I can't tell you.
All right, so it has to do with rate.
Okay.
It's your annual percentage rate. You know what I'm saying? So on your cars or on your loans, everything has an APR for the most part, right?
That's why I seen it. My car knows this shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you have a higher APR, that's the more money it's like your multiplier in a sense. So it's gonna make you have to pay more money over time. So that's why everybody, when they say they want to get their credit right, they want to have the lowest interest rate as possible.
Makes sense.
APR is just your annual interest rate, pretty much.
Okay. Next question.
Next one, you ready? What is a perfect credit score?
A perfect credit score?
Like what number?
I would say like 850.
Oh, solid. You guessed that, and you were like,
No, that's just what makes sense.
Yeah.
850.
850 is perfect. Fact. It's right on the money. All right, last one. You ready?
Yeah, go
Let's see if we get this one. Name the 3 credit bureaus.
You got Equifax.
Yeah. Equifax, yes, sir.
Credit Karma.
Oh,
Credit Karma's not a bureau.
I ain't no bureau. Hey, stay away from Credit Karma.
Equifax. I just did my taxes. It's crazy.
That was the hardest one for me, to be honest. Yeah.
It's the E's, man.
I'm lost.
Equifax. There's another E. Experian and TransUnion. Those are the 3. So yeah, those are questions we go around asking people, and then we also follow up with, if you had the option of getting $100,000 or being able to have a 850 credit score, which one would you take?
I want that credit score.
Why?
Because you can always get money. Like, especially if you have great credit, like, you can always find a way to get some money. With that credit, it just makes things easier, in my opinion. Like,
sounds good, but can't you always get your credit up too?
Yes, you can.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I feel like you'll make more money having a higher credit score than you will just having 100,000.
How so?
Because, like,
you make more money, or you have more like borrowing power?
More borrowing power.
For sure.
Yeah.
But the thing with borrowing power, can't you put yourself in more debt?
That's true if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, if you use it the wrong way, you take advantage of it. But if you're focused, you got a goal, and you're disciplined a little bit, and you have a high credit score, there is no limit. Like,
that's hard. That's hard. All right, man, cool. So real quick, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about yourself, man. What's up?
So I'm Cyrus, from the Houston area. I was wrongfully accused of a capital murder in 2018. Yeah, in San Marcos, capital murder. The big one.
How many years is it?
How many years is that? Yeah. It's life.
How many years did you do?
I was in county jail for 5 years. Mm-hmm. Capital murder, the only 2 outcomes, 3, is life without parole, the death penalty, or you're not guilty, pretty much. So, yeah. I spent 5 years in the county jail.
How are you sitting here right now? Like, they finally like got evidence that it wasn't you?
No, I'm sitting there right now because I fought for myself. Like, I fought real hard. I educated myself. I wrote probably 100 letters a day, just reaching out to people that I felt like could help. I ended up going to trial in 2022, and in my trial, like, everybody's seeing that, like, damn, this shit is ridiculous. Like, this is definitely not the right person. Yeah. The DA's opening statement, he puts up a puzzle piece, and there's a bunch of pieces missing. It's a gun. He's like, I want you guys to look at this. There's a bunch of pieces missing, but we all know that's a firearm. Well, that's what we have here with this case. There's a bunch of shit we don't know, but based off of what we think happened, you'll be able to convict Mr. Gray of capital murder. So there was no evidence against me. And let me backtrack. So me and my friend DJ, he goes by Rax. He's right here. This Rax right here.
Yeah, this like the backstory, like what happened, right?
Yeah, this is the backstory of what happened, of why my book is coming out and all that. So in 2018, I get picked up from my job in Houston. I did physical therapy at the time. Get picked up from my job. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So physical therapy.
So you told me you went to Texas State.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I get picked up from my job by a task force. It's like 7, 8.
Like they bust through the doors?
Bust through the door. Cyrus Gray, put your hands up. Don't move. Bust through that bitch.
Right.
You had no idea. Hell no, I'm setting up a table. I'm setting up a table for our next hour of patience. I got my AirPods. I'm listening to music. I'm setting up the table. I'm chilling. They come in there and shit. But it's like right before they came in, you know, you got intuition. Like right before they came in, it's like everything just went silent. It was just real quiet. And I remember looking up because I felt like off. I'm like, damn, it just got real quiet. Boom, they come in. Came in, put me in cuffs, walked me through the building. Everybody see me.
Embarrassing.
Walking out of cuffs. Everybody see me. They take me to the front of the building and they put me in this minivan. And in the minivan is 2 detectives. The lead detective on my case and I guess her partner. They're in the van. They grabbed me, put me in the van. First thing she says was, "Where's Devontae? You're under arrest for capital murder." Devontae is my boy DJ I'm telling you about, King Rex. So from there, I mean, I'm in shock. I don't know what's going on, but never in the history of my existence has it been good to talk to police. So I was like, man, I need a lawyer. I don't know what's going on. Y'all just stormed in my job like I was the #1 terrorist on the terrorist list.
Yeah.
You know, so they take me in the van. They shoot out of Houston as fast as possible because Harris County wasn't involved in the arrest. So picked me up, put me in the van, and shot out. Stopped in Silly at this gas station, and we waited there for a Hayes County patrol car to meet us there, and then they put me in that car. And then right after that, I think they shot back to Houston, and they arrested Rax. At the time, he was putting his son in a car. Kazi was like 2 years old at the time, I think. But he's putting Kazi in the car, and then all he sees is a unmarked van and a bunch of people jump out the van, like not marked in any police identifying things or anything. They just jump out the van. They got assault rifles, and yeah, they grab him and arrest him, and he starts to shout to like get his mom's attention because he was just finna leave her place because his son is in his car. It's hot as hell. Yeah. His son is just sitting in his car. He don't know what's going on. But yeah, he gets picked up. They take him to Hayes County as well. And we sat in there, Devontae, for 6 years. I came home first. I sat in there for 5 years. Through that time, I mean, all the odds was against us, really, like, and they hate you if you have some sense. Like, I'm educating myself, trying to figure out, man, I got to get home. I didn't do this.
So what was you doing, like, your whole time in there?
The whole time I was in there, I was working on business plans, working out, writing movies, writing books, created a cartoon, drew like 200 plus characters. Like I'm doing productive shit. Like I'm trying to keep my mind out of this box, like really. So if I'm not doing that, I'm working on legal stuff. Like anytime somebody comes in that may have a law book or may know anything, I'm like, hey, can I copy that? Can I see that? Can I read that? It may have nothing to do with what I'm dealing with, but at the end of the day, I may run across something that does. So riding, like I'm probably gonna have arthritis when I'm older, but I'm copying everything. And then my family and support system on the outside, if I needed a book or something, like, hey, can you look this book up for me? They'll send it to me. If I need to find an address to write to, hey, can you look up this address? They'll send it to me. And then just doing that, bro, just keeping my mind out of the box, really, like just believing that I'm gonna go home, you know? Because for a long time, I didn't know if I was gonna go home. I just had to get up every day and be like, nah, fuck this shit. This is not your world, you know? Doesn't matter how long you have to sit here for right now. Like, don't get comfortable. Don't accept it. This is not your world. And that's what I did. I just fought through it. I had 3 different attorneys through the process. My first attorney, first thing bro said to me after sitting in jail for like 5 months before I even have an attorney, before I go to court or anything. First thing he says, like, wow, you really went for the big one, didn't you? I'm like, damn. So off the muscle, like, you believe I'm guilty. Like,
Thanks.
you haven't had a conversation with me. We haven't talked at all. You believe that I did this. And he was on my case for close to 2 years. And that time he came to see me probably like 4 times. And every time he'll come in, he'll pop in for a little bit, like 5, 10 minutes. Hey man, you should just try to take a 45 or something, you know? At this time I'm 23 years old. I'm 30 now. I'm 23 years old. He's like, you should just take a 45, you know? I mean, look at me, I'm 47. You'll get home in like 20 years. I'm still out here partying, fucking girls, having fun. And I'm like, bro, like, I didn't commit a murder. Yeah, you know? I mean, the same guy, he'll go to court. Like, my mom would drive to every court date from here. Bless her heart. She'll drive from every court date. Sometimes she'll show up with clothes and a pair of shoes and like just everything's like, man, he's coming home today. Man, this man would look at my mama and tell him, hey, you're still here? What are you doing here? Your son's never coming home. Why don't you just convince him to take a plea deal? You know, that's my first attorney. And one day I write him a letter.
You got his name?
Yeah, Todd Dudley. Terrible guy.
Hey, boy.
Yeah,
Todd Dudley, terrible
guy.
I got some words for you, Todd. You left me on camera, bro, because I'm like, oh, Lord. Yeah. The Lord held my tongue, bro.
Smile in your face, tell you some crazy shit.
Todd Dudley, he just sound like an op, bro.
Yeah, bro, it was bad. My second attorney, he was no better. Like, he didn't have a very good reputation in the area. So long story short, with the attorneys, like, the system out there is designed for you to fail at all costs, whether you're innocent or not. So at first I tried to get a paid attorney. I didn't have $75,000 to give to an attorney, so I got a court-appointed attorney. Court-appointers are never gonna work in your best interest. They're just not. They're plea deal attorneys. That's their job. Get you to plea out, move it on. Because with a court-appointed, whether they win your case or not, they're getting paid the same dollar amount. So most of them, you're just another case, you know? So my second attorney, he actually tried. Like, don't get me wrong, like, he actually tried, but he couldn't get past his biases of me. So, like, he didn't want to hear me out on nothing. Like, I would tell him, hey, man, like, file this motion. Like, let's argue this, let's argue that. But I'm just a young black man that's been accused of a murder that doesn't know any better. So, like, he's not trying to hear shit I'm telling him. He rarely came to see me, too. He's not putting up any fight. I went to trial with this guy. And after my trial, like months after my trial, he's like, man, you know, maybe I could have argued that there was no probable cause to arrest you in the first place. This is after a capital murder trial. My trial was almost a month long. Within that time, this attorney advocated for me for no more than 2 hours. So my whole trial is the DA. He's a murderer, he's a monster, look at him. Like this. That's it. Bringing my friends in here, that I went to school with at that time, just grilling them. Like, I mean, some of my friends are up there crying. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's nothing that I could tell you to help this case. I don't know anything. Like, Cyrus was not that type of person in the first place. They brought old girls that I used to mess with when I was in college, just bringing anybody they could find to say something bad about Cyrus Gray. It's like, the lengths that I've seen a prosecution's office is willing to go to get a conviction, it's really sad. Like, it's sick. So, yeah, after my trial, like I said, I was in jail for 4 or 5 more months, and then I was finally given a bond. So the whole time, the whole 5 years, I had no bond, so I couldn't get out if I wanted to. Devontae as well, no bond. After my trial, we're finally given a bond. And a few months after that, it's reduced enough to where I'm able to bond out. I come home, I'm on bond, I got this ankle monitor, I got a 11 p.m. curfew.
How much was the bond?
The bond, when they reduced it, they started off at $500,000. No, Devontae started off at $500,000. Mine started off at $250,000.
Why was Devontae's high?
Why was his higher? Only because he hadn't gone to trial. He hadn't had his day in court to speak or say anything. So they assume you're guilty. You think it's innocent until proven guilty, but it's really the opposite. Once you've been arrested, once you've been accused of something, if you cannot bond out, or you're guilty, and they're gonna treat you like such, from the jail staff, the nurses, everybody in the courtroom, even your attorney sometimes, you're guilty. Like, the ads are 100% stacked against you. So his bond was significantly higher, only because he hadn't gone to court to have a day in court, you know? When my bond was reduced, this is how bad my attorney was. When my bond gets reduced, this is the second one. Both of them were bad. But this is the second one. When my bond is getting reduced, I have this hearing. After my trial, once people see how crazy this is, one of my jurors, Melinda Rodhouse, one of my jurors, she writes an article just about the injustice in my case and about just how much of a waste of time and taxpayer dollars it was even taking me to trial in the first place. She writes an article. I connected with Professor Matthew Clare of Stanford while I was incarcerated, and ended up writing an article that was published with Harvard Law School while I was incarcerated. He wrote a letter in support for me for my bond hearing. My whole family's here. Shannon, I stayed with Shannon when I came out on bond. Shannon is a former prosecutor. Shannon shows up to my bond hearing. She's like, hey, you need to let him out. Like, even if you don't want him to go back home to Houston, he can come live with me, but you need to let him out. So all of these people are here to support this bond hearing and support me getting out of jail. Because by this time, I've connected with enough people to where, like, people know what's going on with our story now. So people are watching, they're trying to see it. Like, they see that these are two educated young men that have been pulled into something that they really didn't have anything to do with. And the state and the prosecutors are trying so hard to be right in spite of the fact that they're factually wrong. So all these people are here to bat for me. My lawyer comes to see me, and when you go to court and you're incarcerated, they take you to a holding cell at the courthouse. You're like underground, very cold holding cell. You're sitting there in chains and cuffs. My lawyer comes to see me in the holding cell. He's like, hey man, you know, I think we should push this hearing back to January. Keep in mind, right now at this time, it's November. He's like, yeah, I think we should push it back to January. I don't think the judge is gonna go for it. And I'm like, bro, like, is my family here? He's like, yeah, they're here. And I did Professor Claire send you the letter? Yeah, I got all the letters. Melinda's here? Yeah, she's here to testify on your behalf. Okay, so why do you want to wait until January? Like, everybody took time out of their day and their lives to come here for this moment right now. Why would we push it off because you believe the judge is not gonna go for it? You know? So before he came to talk to me though, he tried to convince my parents to say, yeah, you know what, we'll go talk to him and just reset it. They weren't going for it, so he came to talk to me. His response to them was, well, you guys aren't my client. So he comes and talks to me hoping that I'm gonna go for it. I'm like, nah, man, let's just go in there. Everybody's here already. Like, just do your job. We go in, the judge reduces my bond, I get out. If it was up to him.
So he reduced it from $250 to what?
To $75,000. And then I bonded out on a $7,500 bond.
$7,500?
Yeah, $7,500, because you do 10%. Yeah, so $7,500. A lot of people came through for me. Sean Jackson, this guy that I met while I was incarcerated, we connected so much. When he came home, like, he was literally walking around the streets of Austin, San Marcos, like, passing people information about my case. Like, y'all need to look at this. Like, this dude is innocent. I work for a nonprofit called Mono Omega now. He got them involved. Like, Sean is just like a 6'6", big, like, jail-tatted white dude, bald, red beard. He looks scary. So he's like hounding these people, like, man, y'all need to look at this case. Y'all need to look at this case. Like, this dude is innocent. So eventually, he hounded enough people on the outside as I was hounding on the inside. And, you know, they gave me a chance. Amy Kemp, she came to see me while I was incarcerated. And she was like, you know, Sean's been telling me a lot about your case. I just wanted to come put a face to the name and see if I believe you. We had a conversation. After that, she went to bat for me. She started dropping articles for me. I started sending her articles to post in the newspaper out there and online and different things. And she just really went to war for me. And at this time, like, she's damn near 8 months pregnant with her first child. And she's at the courthouse every hearing, big belly, no pad, like, going in, like, everything. So, yeah, people came through for me. My friend Miles, I was incarcerated with him for a while. When he got home, he did the same thing. He's an aspiring poet right now, but he did the same thing. He's on the news, giving speeches, going to different events, giving poems just about how messed up my situation is, like just really building a support for me. And yeah, when I came home, it was terrifying at first because I was incarcerated for so long. Like, I was gone for 5 years, from 23 to 28, in a cell, you know? And while I'm in that cell, like, I'm not having a good time. Like, I'm minding my own business, but at the same time, you're in jail. So, like,
what's your first week of jail like?
First week of jail, I walk in, and I'm noticeably pissed the fuck off. I walk in, I put my stuff up. First thing a guard says to me when I get booked in, oh yeah, you're gonna be here a while. Hell no, there's no way. They wasn't lying. 5 years later, they wasn't lying. And it's a sad thing with that county. You have people that are in that county jail waiting for a day in court, 5 years, 7 years, 4 years in a county jail, serving prison sentences. So yeah, the first thing a officer said, yo, you're gonna be here a while. The very first week, I get put into a max tank. It is 16 people. Everybody in here is murder charges, aggravated robbery, max murder, everything. Security. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very first week, 2 days in, this old man tries to hang himself. And I'll talk about this in my book too. Like, I've seen people try to commit, I've prevented 2 suicide attempts in my life. So like, I've seen it before. But this is very different. This is scary different. Like, this old man waited until all of us went to sleep, and he tries to hang himself on the gate, and he's hanging there smiling. He didn't want to be here that bad that he's literally trying to hang himself, and he's smiling about it. And me and a bunch of other inmates were banging on the windows, like, we're trying to get somebody's attention because this dude is trying to kill himself. Like, a few people over there holding him up, a few people are banging on the window. They're looking in and ignoring the fuck out of us. So it's like, if nobody had woke up, this would be a dead man right here, you know? So, yeah, first week it was like that. I mean, big rides, first weekend. I didn't get into any fights until, like, after 6 months being incarcerated. Like, I got good energy. Like, people, petty stuff. You have a bunch of grown men that are locked in a box with a bunch of different personalities that are all pissed off. Some of them did their crime and they're here still pissed off. Some of them, they didn't do shit. They just been accused, but everybody's pissed off. You have a bunch of grown men in here. So it doesn't take much for somebody to snap. And then you got people in here with mental illnesses. It's like, while I was incarcerated, a dude got his throat slit. Like, he's just sitting there chilling. Dude walks up on him with a razor, slits his throat. He's just chilling, for no reason. So it's like, you're dealing with all of this. So you're always on high alert. You're always in a state of survival mode, fight or flight. So it doesn't take much for somebody to push your buttons and now, oh, okay, it's a fight. My very first fight happened over a basketball game.
Of course, yeah.
It happened over a basketball game.
Who was playing what position?
I don't even hoop for real. I'm just athletic. You know, I don't even hoop for real, but I'm out there hooping. And this day that I'm out there hooping, like, the team that I'm on doesn't have nobody. And I'm very competitive. So, like, when the odds are stacked against me, I perform at my best. That's why I'm here right now. That's why I'm home. I perform at my best when the odds are stacked against me. So I'm out here looking like Kobe. Don't hoop at all. People are upset about it that actually hoop. One thing leads to another. Dude starts talking crazy, and we get in a fight right there on the rec yard. I get taken to say.
Like, did you foul? Like, what was going on?
He was fouling, right? Which, I mean, technically it's probably a legal foul. But bro's cold. Don't get me wrong, bro's cold. But he'll mix you up, and then when he gets by you, he's like grab your leg so you can't even do nothing. Like, he's just gonna keep pushing. He's telling him, hey, bro, chill. He got messed up because I'm like, bro, chill. You want to fight? Bro, you really want to fight over this? Wasn't going for it. In jail, if somebody say they want to fight, you better fight.
Yeah.
You better fight. Because it's going to be everybody else and their cousins and brothers trying you next. So, when we got into a fight, we get taken to SEG. say it's like a small cell, like probably like from here to like the little silver part right there. No, probably from here to the end of that couch.
So it was still like 5 by 5 feet, something like that.
Yeah, smaller than
or 6 by 6.
Mm-hmm. Cold. All you got in there is a little metal bed. It's a shower in there, a small shower and a toilet. We get taken to say first time in say. From there, I'm in say for like 3-4 days, taken back to the dorm. While we're in the dorm, like I said, I'm to myself. I'm chilling. Like my mind is focused on getting home. I'm not really worried about nothing that's going on right here. While we're in the dorm, like people gravitate towards me because they see that like I'm just a chill nigga. I've been here chilling. If somebody needs something, like, hey bro, you want something to eat? Hey, you want some socks or something? It's cold. Like I'm good. Like I got a family that loves and supports me. And when they're short, I'm a gamble. I'm gonna get on a spades table. I'm gonna get on a poker table. I sent home thousands of dollars off of spades in jail.
From jail?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Just off of spades alone. Hell yeah. So
you gotta go to Vegas. Right? No, for real. The birds or something, man.
Yeah. So I was always good. Like even when I didn't have anybody to provide something for me, I'ma find a way to get what I need. So, and I'm out the way. I'm chilling. Like people come to me to vent, different shit. Like what you need? What's up? And I've always believed in giving people your time. So I could be sitting here in the day room. The day room is like just a little day area. I could be sitting here working on something. I could be working on emotion. I wrote my own motion, send all them. I could be working on emotion. Hey, bro, let me talk to you. I'm gonna put it up. What's up, bro? What you want to talk about? Because I know what it's like to be going through something or to have something on your mind that you just need somebody to hear and you don't have nobody there for you. So I would always pride myself while I was incarcerated, even while I'm out. Like if somebody wants to talk to you, give them that time, you know? Because I mean, like I said, I've stopped 2 suicides in my life. Like that time can make a huge difference, you know? So that's just how I carried myself. I didn't really get into anything, but I didn't shy away from nothing. Because I'm in here pissed off. I'm mad. I'm not looking for no problems, but if you bring a problem, in my mind, this is a release. I'm not gonna push the issue, but I'm really hoping you push the issue because this is a release. You know? And that's how most people were. Like anything can happen at any moment. And now you're in a situation. I almost got stabbed a few times. Like that's jail. Unfortunately, it's jail.
How'd you prevent it?
Oh, these right here. These right here. I mean, I know how to defend myself. You know, I mean, I've been in riot situations. I was punished for a riot that I had nothing to do with because, and this is what the guard told me, like, this is what the corporal told me, like the head of them. I'm watching the video and you could see me in the video, like I'm in my bunk, like knocked out. Everybody else is in here going crazy. They tearing shit up. They mask on their face. They made masks with t-shirts. They're just tearing shit up. You see me in my bunk, knocked out. Because I'm used to the chaos by now. It's like, this shit, I'm knocked out. And you see the guards come in, they got tasers, they got paintball guns with pepper pellets in it. They just go crazy, Call of Duty mode. Literally like a Call of Duty scene. And I'm like, look, you can literally see me like sleeping the whole time until y'all bust the gates open. That's the only time you see me wake up. And they're like, no, man, I think you had something to do with it because if you tell these guys to do something, they're gonna do it. You're influential like that. And I'm like, I'm literally chilling. Like, I'm not doing nothing to nobody, for nobody, with nobody. I didn't come in here with nobody. If anything, I came in here with DJ, with Rex. And we're not in the same space. Like, I don't care about nothing else that's going on in here. We're trying to get home, you know? So I got punished for a lot of things I had nothing to do with. Because, yeah, you know, because I mean, I'm going to speak up. Like, if I see something that's wrong, especially you're trying to do something wrong, I'm going to speak up. I don't care if you're a guard. I don't care if you're a judge. I don't care. Like, I'm in here because I can't bond out. I'm not in here because I've been convicted of anything. You're not gonna treat me like I'm a convicted felon. Like I'm not convicted of anything. But they'll treat you as if they were right next to you when you committed the crime that you were accused of committing. Like just off the muscle. Even like the nurses, like you could be going through something crazy right now if you were incarcerated. You'd be going through some crazy shit. If you go to that nurse, man, this is what I'm going through. I need some help. Woo, woo, woo. They're gonna look at you like you're just, like you're not shit, like you're bullshitting, you're lying. Because you have people in here that'll do that. They'll say anything just to try to get some drugs. Yeah. So they treat everybody in here like that. Like you have to literally break an arm and a leg to get the type of medical help you need. That first few months while I was in there, like I said, I do physical therapy. There was a dude in there, bro was a singer, cold singer. He's in there, he has broken ribs, his knees dislocated, his shoulders dislocated. Because when he got arrested, the police beat the shit out of him. Beat him bad. He was homeless, beat him bad. So I'm like, I noticed because we're hooping one day, I'm like, hey bro, your shoulder is like it's like down here, like what's up? And he's like, man, it's been doing this. So I pop back in place. I pop back in place. And then like he'll wake up in the middle of the night and his knees just like all out the way. I pop the hell back in place. And I'm like, bro, I can't do nothing about your rib cage. It's like,
Yeah, you gonna figure that one out.
yeah. But this dude literally would have to fake seizures to get medical attention. Like he would have to fall out. Like it would be like this. It would be nighttime. Be like, man, y'all, I need to go to medical. All right, we got you. He'll roll off the bed, hit the ground,
and start tweaking.
Yeah, he would have to go through those type of lengths just to get some help because he couldn't bond out of jail.
And what county jail is this?
This is Hays County, San Marcos, Texas, right between Austin and San Antonio. The good old small boy town. Like, yeah, it's bad out there, you know? And yeah, it's in there for 5 years. Got jumped a few times, turned into the monster that they wanted a few times. Like, just because it's frustrating, bro. Like,
did they ever threaten to like take your bond away or anything because of stuff?
Nah, because again, I didn't have a bond until like 3-4 months after I went to trial for capital murder.
So the whole time you in there, you think you might be there for life type deal.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going home. I have no idea. I don't know if I'm ever going home. And then our case was so bad, like on the investigative side. Our case was the only case that wasn't in the news. We weren't in the news when we got arrested, like nothing like that, because it was so sloppy, like the investigation was so botched. In that area, the police have a real bad, like, bias against people from Houston.
Wow.
So,
wow.
I don't know, they hate people from Houston. They think, and the chief of police has gotten, like, on TV and said this, like, in media presses. They think that people from Houston are coming to San Marcos to commit violent crimes.
For what?
And I talked to dude about it because, again, like I told you, I was in a meeting with a judge on my way here. So I'm in those spaces now because of what I went through and because I'm still, like, doing criminal justice reform work and advocating and stuff like that. So I see the chief there when the meeting. I'm like, hey, bro, like, this is how I talk to him. Bro. Like, I'm like, hey, bro, like, what's up? Like, you went on the news and said people are coming from Houston to commit violent crimes. And I'm like, what about all the thousands of people that are just here for education? Like, what about all the thousands of students? What about all the thousands of people that moved to this area just because it's slower pace and they wanted to start a place, or they wanted a home for their family, or they saw a new job opportunity? What about all those people? Like, you got on the news and said that people are coming to your town from Houston only to commit violent crimes. You've put a target on everybody's back that's coming here for an education, on everybody's back that's coming here for a slower pace.
Yeah, one of the biggest universities in the state.
Yeah, you know? So, I mean, I don't know what it is, but
what did he say to you?
He didn't say nothing to me. He was like, no, I didn't say that. And I was like, yes, you did, bro. Like, it's right here.
I can show you.
Yeah, I already had it pulled up. Because if I'm ever going to, when I'm in these spaces, if I'm ever going to speak up, I'm going to have everything lined up. Because, for one, I've gone through what it's like to be in a courtroom. Like, when you're in that courtroom, especially when you're defending, oh, they're going to shut you down every chance they get. When I fired my first attorney, the judge is asking me, like, hey, so what's going on, Gray? What do you think? I couldn't get out 3 words. My attorney cut me off. The DA cut me off. My attorney cut me off. DA cut me off.
You can't tell them to, like, stop talking?
Oh, nah. The judge is going to look at you like you're crazy. You're a defendant. If anything, he thinks you're guilty. All this person knows about you is what's written on this paper and in this case file and what this prosecutor or your attorney has presented to them. Outside of that, you're just another case. It took, for me, to go through 5 years, to go through a capital murder trial, to go through 8 months on bond for my judge to finally start seeing me as a person. And the only reason he started seeing me as a person is because when I fired my second attorney, I wrote a letter and I handed it to him. And in that letter, like he's seen that. Oh, he's like, damn, you were a peer mentor, or you played sports all your life. Oh, you did this, you did that. Oh, wow, I had no idea. Now he's seeing me as a person a little bit. But before this, you don't know nothing about me. All you know is I've been accused of this terrible crime, and I look like it. Yeah. And the only reason I look like it is because I've been sitting in jail, and I don't have the right things to take care of myself properly. They don't have no black people products in jail. So I'm here, I'm ashy, I don't have no haircut. I look like somebody that could have committed a terrible crime. So that's all you're seeing is me coming here shackled up. Because when you go to court, if it's not for trial, you're not dressed up. You're in what you're in jail. You have a chain around your waist. You have chains around your ankles. And you have cuffs on that are attached to the chain around your waist. So you're literally like this, just like this. So that's all these judges seeing, you know? And you're the bad guy. You're going against the state of Texas. That's what it says on that paper. Whether it's a misdemeanor or a serious felony, it says Cyrus Gray versus the state of Texas. The judges on the state of Texas team, like these guys work in the same offices. They go on vacations together. Their kids know each other.
Facts. He's
So
not even thinking you're guilty. He's thinking, okay, how long am I gonna?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. My judge was playing Candy Crush through my trial.
Oh, there's no.
Bro, my judge is playing. He playing Candy Crush. He'll look up here. He's playing Candy Crush through the whole trial. For real. That's the system. Like it's crazy.
Let me ask you this, bro, because we are strong believers in fate here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, is there any moment while you served your 5 years that you lost your faith?
No, there's not. Because God was with me through every moment of that 5 years, even when I didn't realize it. Like there was a time in that 5 years where I spent 60 days in a SEG cell with nothing. I had no visitation privileges. I had no commissary privileges. I had just ran out of food, so I don't have nothing. No nothing. Like I'm just in this cell. I get taken out for an hour once a week if a guard remembers to take me out. All I have is these white walls around me, and all I hear is people in the other cells losing their shit, going crazy, screaming, please, losing their shit. And it took me sitting in that cell for those 60 days to start paying attention to just how much God was involved in making sure I was good and letting me know, hey, you finna go home regardless. Like one moment, I'm in the cell and it's my day to go outside to rec. And rec is just another cell. All it is instead of a solid top, it's like the chain link so you can see the sky. It's my day to go out and it's raining crazy. It's raining hard, it's storming outside. The guard comes by, and guards will pick on you while you're in there. Like, they'll say little petty shit to try to get under your skin. The guard comes by, he's like, hey, man, hey, Gray, it's your rec day. I don't think you're going to go outside today. It looks like Jesus is angry. And I was like, well, shit, I'm finna make Jesus smile today. Let me outside, just like responding, right? And I haven't been outside in like a month. Like, I'm trying to go outside. I'm trying to see the sky. I'm something. The only time you see outside is when you're going to court, or if you have to go to the hospital for something. That's the only time you see outside. All you see is these walls. So I'm like, nah, hell no, I'm going outside. He takes me outside. And when I walk out to the rec yard, it's still noticeably cloudy, but it stops raining. And I'm out there just kind of shooting around, running some laps and stuff, shooting around. I'm out there for like 20 minutes. And I noticed like, damn, it's bright as fuck. Like, it looks like it never rained. And then I'm like, damn, like, in my mind, I'm like, damn, I really made Jesus smile today. Yeah. So I'm out there for like 25 more minutes. The guard comes, like, time's up, takes me in. As soon as I walk through those doors, it starts storming hard as shit again. What? Power goes out in the building, all that. I'm like, so it's like, I had moments like that. Like, even dealing with my first attorney, bro, like, that showed me that no matter what I asked for, like, God had always said yes to me. Like, I'm favored in that way. Like, I recognize that. Because with my first attorney, it was terrible. But I prayed for that attorney. I asked for that guy. And I got him. He was just terrible. But I prayed for him because I'm in this state of panic. And I'm hearing, oh, yeah, they're gonna railroad you. Like, nobody makes it out of here. Hayes County doesn't lose. I'm hearing shit like this. And I'm seeing all these attorneys. People are pissed off with their attorneys. And then I start hearing this name, Todd Dudley, Todd Dudley. Oh, bro's live. He's good. You want to get Todd Dudley. If you're going to pay for somebody, get him. Learned the hard way. Just because an attorney is good doesn't mean he's good for you. You know what I mean? So even with that situation, I prayed for that attorney. I'm really pleased. Like, if there's anybody, just make it be Todd Dudley. And I got him. Turned out to be the worst thing I could have did. But, like, things like that happen a lot. Like, God showed me he was on my side in a lot of ways. Like, and it reminded me, like, there's not one time in my history of existence that I asked for something and didn't get it, whether it was good for me or not. You know, like, for real. Another moment, the very first time my niece and nephew come to visit me. At this time, they're like 3 years old. They come to see me. It's the first time I've seen them in nearly 2.5 years. Like,
the last time they was babies.
Yeah, they was babies for real. They was crawling babies for real. They come to see me. My older sister, she comes too, but she doesn't come to see me because it's difficult. Like, it's hard seeing somebody you love in that state. So my mom brings my niece and nephew in. They sit down, we're chopping it up. We're having a conversation. They're talking like kids, like we're having a good old time. And I noticed, like, their facial expressions just completely changed. Like, they just finally realized what was going on. And I see my nephew, he's looking around. My niece starts looking around. Because there's other inmates in here with you, you know? The visitation room is like a little small hall, and then there's this glass window, and then there's phones on this side and that side. So there's other people right here with you. And I'm noticing, like, their facial expression is changing. And then my niece is like, what are you doing here? Like, you're not supposed to be here. You're not a bad person. What are you doing here? My nephew's like, just break the glass. Like, he told me to break the glass. I'm like, I can't do that, Jamal. And then my niece is like, don't worry. We're not going to leave you here. We're going to come back and get you. We're not going to leave you here. Just listen to grandma and just stay out of trouble. We're going to come get you.
How old is she?
At this time, she was 3. She's 9 now. Yeah, she was 3 years old, young. And, like, you could just tell, at least I told my family and I told my friends, like, man, that wasn't them like that. That was God talking to me. Just like the way that they went from, just clueless playing to just so stiff and serious. Like, I'm talking about they looking at me dead eye, like locked in. I'm like, man, that's God. Like, you know, that's the reminder I needed. And I had a lot of subtle reminders like that. Because it gets hard in there, you know, you get discouraged. Everything stacked against you, you get discouraged. You have people that are sitting in there for years and your attorney may have came to see you twice. You know, you don't know what's going on with your case. You're dealing with what you're dealing with in here with everybody else dealing with what they're dealing with. You're dealing with what your family's dealing with on the outside. You can't even vent to your people if you wanted to because the world doesn't stop moving because you're in jail, you know. And most people that are sitting in jail, they come from a background of struggle anyways. Those struggles don't stop with your loved ones because you're sitting in jail. So it's a lot of times, a lot of days where I'm going through it. I just want to talk to somebody. I'm going through it. I get on the phone, I just hear how bad they're going through. I'm like, damn. I can't even add, at least for me, like, I can't even add my pain to what you're dealing with right now. Like, because just like I just wanted somebody to talk to, clearly you did too. So
what do you think he was trying to, like, what do you think God was trying to, like, teach you in this whole situation?
Slow down. Yeah, for real, like, slow down. Slow down in the sense of, like, I'm very high energy.
I'm talking about, like, the whole situation from, like, you getting arrested to your time in there as well.
Oh, the whole situation for me getting arrested the time in there, 1, slow down, for sure. And 2, lock back in. Like, I have a very strong spiritual relationship with God. Like for real, like, growing up, like, I used to have deja vu 24/7. Like, and to the point where I'm noticing it and I'm recognizing when shit's about to happen. I'm like, hey, bro, chill this one, right? Stuff like that. Like, I have a very strong connection with God. Like, when I was a kid, I always knew what I wanted to do with my life. You know, I would always tell people, yeah, you know, I'm finna get real successful and I'm finna take my people home. I'm finna get real successful and I'm gonna take my people home. By that, I'm talking about Africa, because I'm born in Africa.
Really?
Yeah, I was born in Africa. I was born from overseas in Liberia area, Cote d'Ivoire. Of course, my family's all in the west part. So from a young age, and I came to America when I was like 7 or 8. From a young age, like, I've always like, yeah, I wanna get real successful. I wanna take my people home. And then while I was locked up, it hit me in a different way. It's like, man, you know, you've always known what you wanted to do, but maybe taking your people home meant something different, you know? And that's why I do the work that I still do with criminal justice reform, because those are my people too. Those people sitting in those cells, like it's so many like great, talented people that are sitting behind bars, bro. Like
Falsely accused,
and some rightfully accused. But still, there's so many great, talented people, and the ones that are rightfully accused, most of them just had no guidance. Like my boy Freddie. Freddie's serving 2 23-year prison sentences. He was locked up when he was 16. From 16 to I think 22 or 24, he was in the jail before he went to prison. Freddie grew up around his older brothers, like in the cartel shit, like selling drugs, shit like that. Freddie was kidnapped when he was young, and like by the cartel behind his brother, he was kidnapped, and he had a lot of trauma. And even before this point, he was diagnosed with like ADHD, PTSD, depression, all types of these things, right? And he's on these meds. And as a kid, like you're on all these meds, it's already gonna mess you up, especially if you already have issues. So he goes to rob a gas station with one of his brother's friends, and they get locked up. His brother's friend, while they're robbing the gas station, he like starts freaking out and panicking, and Freddie shoots the clerk on accident. They get locked up. Yeah. Freddie's in there from 2015 to like he's in there 6 years. He's in there for a while, but from 2015 on, he's locked up. I knew Freddie for 3 of those years, and I still talk to him to this day. And the one thing that he told me, like, man, bro, I wish I met you in the world. He's like, if I met you in the world, I wouldn't be here. And that's a lot of those people. They don't have nothing. All you know is what you see and what you're around. You know, like you travel, you see different things. Man, there's so many people sitting right here, right around us that have never left right here. All you know is the world that you're in, especially as a kid. When you're dealing with all these things as teenagers deal with, you're trying to grow up and you have this trauma, and then you see your family struggling, and you see these guys out here doing this, doing that, and it looks cool. It looks like they have it, but in reality, you don't know what's coming with it. For Freddie's situation, Freddie had no guidance, he had no help, he had no resources, and he ends up following somebody that he believes can help him, and he ends up getting in this situation, and there's no leniency, there's no nothing. They tried to hit him as hard as they could, get him 2 23-year prison sentences. And when I met Freddie was in there angry, crashing out. He's getting into fights. He's doing all these things. And me and Freddie locked in, man. After chilling with Freddie and talking to Freddie for a few months, Freddie's a brilliant business mind. He's a very intelligent business mind. And he's a very good dude. He just had no structure in his life. He had no order. He had no guidance. And he dealt with his chaos how he knew best to deal with it to survive each day. You know, you have a lot of people that are in a constant state of survival mode. I've been in a constant state of survival mode up until probably like 7 months ago. I'm in a constant state of survival mode. And I had to step back and ask myself, like, damn, bro, like, how are you gonna go from hustling out of survival to hustling with strategy? Because it's a big difference. You could look good hustling in survival mode. It could look real good. But that doesn't mean it's good in here and up here. You're going through it. You're still in chaos. Like, since I've been home, I've done so much shit. Like, but for me, it's nothing, because for a while, I was still in chaos. I'm still in survival mode. I'm moving out of survival rather than strategically, calculatedly moving to grow in the way that I want to. You know, it took a situation of me being pulled over and having 20 guns in my face from police officers to be like, damn, like something has to change. And that happened since I've been home. Because
wait. They pulled you over at gunpoint?
Yeah.
For what?
Because I have a
After you got
murder.
out?
Oh yeah, because I have a capital murder associated with my name. So like right now I don't even drive cars that are in my name, because if you run my license plate, it's gonna say pending capital murder. At that moment, you're a threat.
As soon as that police officer...
Because the number one thing that police officers are taught in all of their little meetings and all the things, the number one thing they're taught is you have to make it home. So with that process, you know, you're not out here thinking, I have to protect and serve. I have to make it home. So when you run a plate and you see a name and you see capital murder or aggravated robbery, or it don't matter how long it's been. It don't matter if it was factual. It don't matter if it's a conviction. You're about to be treated as such, especially for a Cyrus Gray in that area. Like a lot of those people hate me. Like they hate my guts. I'm an anomaly. I'm the one that got away and then came back and helped other people come home. They hate me, you know? Like, so in that area, I get pulled over. I'm on my way to San Antonio. And I'm with my girl at this time. I'm on the way to San Antonio. We get pulled over. And I notice I'm getting pulled over because I've been pulled over before since I've been home. You know, since anytime an officer gets behind me, they run my plates, they see my name. Oh, 9 times out of 10, you're finna stop me. So now I get cars in my LLC name and stuff like that because you can't see who's in here off the muscle. You have to really pull me over and dig. But I'm getting pulled over for nothing because you run my name and you see this charge. So we get pulled over and my girl, she's sleeping. I'm like, hey, wake up. We're getting pulled over. Call my lawyer. Because, I mean, at this time, I'm still very triggered. I'm still very traumatized by a lot of things. And so I'm like, hey, call my lawyer. Because in my mind, let me just find somewhere to pull over safe. Because I don't know what's going to happen. I've been pulled over before by myself and it didn't go good. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not alone. Like, this girl's with me. So I pull over, stop at this gas station. It's like right there. I get out, we park, and I give her my phone again. I'm like, call my lawyer. And then we just hear, Cyrus Gray, don't move. Who's in there with you? Where are the drugs? Where are the guns? Who are you hiding in the car? I look over, and it's 10, 20 officers. So all the cars are surrounding us. And this is how, bad my PTSD was. Like, I'm sitting here, I don't park the car. I don't hear or see none of this shit until I look over and then I start seeing everything. I'm not even like, I'm so triggered and traumatized right now. Like, I'm not even noticing what's going on for real. And once I notice what's going on for real, oh, it's even worse. I'm like, oh shit. Like, get out the car, put your hands up. So I open the door and I get out the car, I got my hands up. And the whole time I'm like, hey, like, my girlfriend's in here, like, please put your guns down. Like, I don't even know what I'm being pulled over for. But this girl's in the car, like, this is unnecessary. Please put your guns down. I get closer, they grab me, tear my shirt up, put 3 pair of handcuffs on my little wrist, 3 pair of slap those on there, and they throw me in the back of the car, of the cop car. I'm sitting in the back of this car, and all of these officers, they're walking down my car. My girl's still in there, they're walking down the car, and I'm in the back of the cop car, like, rocking this. I'm like, hey, stop, please put your guns down. This girl's in there, please put your guns down. Because at this time, all I'm thinking about is all the young black people that have just been killed by officers. And then even in that area, like, this dude named Joshua Wright, he was shot in the back 6 times by an officer in the emergency room. This kid, Malachi, he's 22, homeless. He's shot in the back 5 times by an officer. Not because he's doing anything, but because he got scared and he ran. Shot in the back, like, this stuff like this going on. So, I'm thinking all the worst shit's finna happen to this girl. And then all the worst shit's finna happen to me just because she's with me. Like, look at what I just put her in. You know, something, boom, boom, boom. They walk over to the car, they take her out of the car, they throw her on the ground, they start tearing my car up. There's nothing in here.
They throw her on the ground?
Yeah, throw her on the ground. They got her on the ground, they got their guns on her, she's on the ground. Tearing my car up. I'm in the back of the cop car, like, going crazy, like, please, like, just stop. Like, what is this? Like, what is all this for? And then they take her to another car. They throw her in. And, like, she knows me very well. Like, she knows my story. She knows what I've been through deeply. So the whole time she's, like, telling them, hey, please be careful with him. Like, he has really bad PTSD. Like, please be careful. The whole time I'm over here thinking all the worst shit. Because, like, that's what I'm used to at this point. Like, I've never had a good interaction with law enforcement at this point. So I'm thinking all the worst things are finna happen. And then I get taken to jail. She comes and bonds me out the next morning.
Bonds you out for what? You got to spend money for some, you didn't even do nothing.
Yeah, I get taken to jail. The officer tried to say that I was fleeing.
Fleeing what?
Mm-hmm. Said I was fleeing. So on the paperwork, it said fleeing and evading arrest. Now, either of those things, to do either of those 2 things, you would have had to have been stopped already and then took off again. But that's just a justification.
And you still had to pay for that? Did you get any money back because that didn't happen?
No, I'm still dealing with that case. Right now, I'm dealing with 6 cases, all after this capital murder case that I had to overcome. These cases I'm dealing with right now are a result to a system pulling me in. and not wanting to let me go and being upset at the fact that I stood up for myself and climbed out of a hole. You know, like I've had significant politicians in that area, like Cyrus, like, you're blackballed. You weren't supposed to do that. You was just supposed to sit there and let it happen. You know, like literally tell me stuff like that. I've been at the courthouse because I'll go to the courthouse for my work. Like I'm a peer mentor. I'm putting together a reentry program in that area for people, and my work is around criminal justice reform. I do public speaking around it, all those types of things, right? So sometimes people will hit me up, man, I have court. You think you can come with me just to support? I don't have nobody to go with. Like, yeah, I got you, bro. Because I know what difference that makes. Like, I've been in a courthouse by myself with nobody here dealing with a capital murder, and I've been in the courthouse with 3 people behind me, and I've been in the courthouse with a whole fucking city behind me, and it makes a huge difference what carries on in that courthouse when you have somebody there for you, you know? So one time I'm at the courthouse, this guy, William Spinks, he's about to go to trial. William Spinks, he owned After Hours out there in San Marcos. Is a hookah lounge after hour. I started helping him with his lounge because he reached out to me and he was talking to me about what he was dealing with law enforcement. He was the only black business owner in that area on the square. That's like the downtown of that area. And like for years, they had been trying to push him out and just pretty much shut down his business. Like they'll go raid his club randomly at times. They'll hit him with all these stipulations and things. He got to climb over just to keep his business open. I set up a show for Quentin and FN at his lounge one time for him. The laws raided the lounge, like, oh, you guys gonna have a big artist here, huh? So like they just messing with him like that. And the reason they're messing with him is because, for one, he's the only black owner on there, and he was accused of something before, and they had to drop the charge. So ever since then, they had just been harassing him. So he was accused of assaulting his girlfriend. His girlfriend, she has a history of mental illness. She was in an abusive relationship before him. So anytime there was an argument or anything went wrong, all she saw was that last person that used to beat the shit out of her. So whether he would do anything or not, she's like screaming for help and different things like that. And she's on all these meds. He helps her keep up with her meds and things. So she calls the police on him one time because he's like, man, I just need to leave. Like, I don't know what's going on with you right now. I'm finna go to Houston. He's from Houston. I'm finna go to Houston for a little bit. She calls the police and she tells the police that he stole her what is it? When you get a check every month?
Oh, like Social Security?
No, not Social Security. She gets a check every month.
Oh, disability.
Yeah, disability
check.
Yeah. He stole her disability check. He beat her up and he left. After she does that, she calls him right away and she's like, I'm so sorry. I messed up. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I did it. But I just called the police and just told them all this. He turns around, he comes back, and he turns himself in. Because in his mind, I didn't do anything. Like, we can go explain what's going on, and it makes sense, and I'm good. Nope. The girl, she goes to the DA's office. She goes to the police like, hey, I have a history of mental illness. Like, nothing that I said was true. It was a mistake. Like, I have real bad trauma, and sometimes it's triggered, and that's all I see. I was off my meds. Woo woo. They're not trying to hear none of that shit. He's been accused. He's been charged. They want a conviction. So he ends up going to trial because while he's incarcerated, he calls her. They put a restraining order on him against her and didn't tell him or her. So while he's incarcerated, he calls her to check on her because she's out here telling her family and his friends, if I don't hear from him, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself. And she's crazy like that. Well, let me not say crazy, but she's going through it like that before. So they're like, man, you need to talk to her. He calls her, and Joe calls her recorded. He calls her, and in that moment, he violates a protective order that he didn't even know about. She didn't know about. They carry through with it. They have to drop all the charges that they initially charged him with because it wasn't going to go anywhere. But now they have something because you violated a protective order that we didn't tell you about. Now we have something that we can use as a conviction. This man goes to court for trial and gets a 40-year prison sentence for a phone call. I go to his trial just to support. And while I'm at the courthouse, there's a number of detectives that worked on my case that are there. And usually when I go to the courthouse, I'm getting all these ugly looks, dirty faces and stuff. Because they really believe like I did this. They really believe that I'm the one that got away. They believe it down to their core. They believe that I'm the bad guy. So they look at me crazy as hell. I'm at the courthouse. And the girl, she's at the courthouse too, like to support him. She's testifying on his behalf and everything. She's in the hall. She's like, Cyrus, I'm scared. I don't know if I can go up there. Like, I have all these issues. The attorney didn't even like guide me through anything to know what to expect and all that. So she's terrified. And I'm just chopping up with her. I'm like, hey, like, if you feel like you can be helpful and you want to go up there, go ahead. But if it's too much for you, you don't have to, you know? This detective's in the hall. He's like, hey, you remember me? You remember me? And I'm like, I just ignored it at first. And I smile a lot because I just like to smile. So like, he's like, you remember me? I ignore it. He's like, you know who I am. You know who I am? You don't know who I am, do you? He's like, antagonizing me. I'm like, yeah, bro, you're asshole number one and that's asshole number two. Like, what's it to you? Because the other detective next to him was also on my case. And they're just kind of bickering. They're antagonizing. This detective goes into the courtroom. He's like, that's it. There's no way I'm taking a stand. There's no way I'm testifying while Gray is here. There's no way I'm doing that. The judge stops this man's trial to have a hearing about why I'm in the courtroom. You stopped a man's entire trial to talk about why I'm here. And then he gets 40 years. And the whole time I'm like, damn, bro, like, I'm sitting there like, how negatively did that just impact this man's chances of a fair trial? Because the jury is in here, and this detective, the good guy, just stormed in and made a scene about somebody that's here in support of this man. So it's like, how negatively did that just impact his chances of having a fair trial? Because a detective is upset with my presence, you know? So like shit like that's going on. The DA, the new DA, ADA, assistant DA, Gray Cox, dude hit me in the back. I'm at the courthouse. He hits me in the back, assaults me, and I'm looking at dude like this is your place of like profession. Like you would think you would have more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Thanks.
my presence alone is causing you to get out of character like that. That's scary, and you know nothing about. This is a new DA. You know nothing about this case for real. But just because you know that this case is a case, and I'm who I am, you've inherited that same bias that everybody else you work with has. And it's a real thing. It's a professor at Texas State, Dr. Ken Rosmo. He's famous for a while ago, there was a serial killer killing people all over. And he figured out how to find him. Like, he's known for like the GPS tracking stuff. He figured out how to find him. And he's telling the police like, hey man, I think he's at this warehouse. I think that's where everything is. They're like, nah, hell no. And then they keep doing their thing. And after doing their thing, dude ends up catching like 3 or 4 more bodies. And then they finally go back to the warehouse and there's a bunch of bodies just stacked up in this warehouse. So he's famous for that. And after that, he did a lot of reports and stuff about police bias. And he was talking about how when an officer or a detective has their guy up here, there's nothing you could tell them otherwise. They're gonna die behind it. And my case is a prime example of that. Like in me and DJ's case, there were other suspects. There were 3 other suspects that are from the same hometown as the victim, went to the same schools, approached the victim asking him if he would be willing to be down with their clique that goes around robbing people, and then they get robbed. All this is known. One of those 3 other suspects went to the police and gave them his phone with all the texts and corroborating information in there because he felt bad because they knew the victim. They grew up with the dude. He felt bad. He's like, man, this should have never happened. He went to him, gave him his phone. Another person that grew up with him went to the police, like, hey, so-and-so did this. He just robbed my friend with the same gun you're looking for. They do this all the time. You have multiple people coming to the police saying it's these other guys. But because me and Devontae are from the Houston area, they're like, nah, it's cool, we want them. There's no evidence to suggest that we committed this crime. And it was like the lead detective, Sandra Spiegel, she took the stand at my trial and testified to that. She was like, yeah, to this day, there's no way of knowing how Gray or Emerson could have known to go to this house. There's no way of knowing if they were even ever there. Oh yeah, by the way, we mistakenly lost one of our only 2 police reports for this entire case. 13 important witness interviews got deleted on accident. Like, I'm hearing shit like this in the trial. Like, there's a murder weapon. They had a tip on a murder weapon, and they're asking about, hey, so the report said you guys had a tip on a murder weapon. Like, somebody got arrested at that time. They had a weapon that fit the description. Did anybody go look into that? Like, no. Nobody followed up on the murder weapon tip. None of that. This is all 2015, 2016. Me and Devontae get arrested in 2018. So y'all didn't do nothing you were supposed to. There's DNA evidence. It's no match to me or Devontae.
Nothing. They did everything they weren't supposed to do.
Yeah, and to this day, they're dying about it. They're dying about it. They're gonna stick to it until they get an eviction or otherwise.
What can you do to prevent it?
The only thing that we can do to prevent it at this point, because like I said, Rex, Devontae, the guy right there, he's out on bond right now. And he has his trial set for May 12th. So he's been through 3 attorneys, court appointed who did nothing for him. Then he got a paid attorney from out there who pretty much just stole all his money, didn't do nothing for him. And now we got an attorney from Houston. His name is Christoph Self. He's just taking over the case. Dude's been on the case for not even a month. And bro has filed like over 8 motions arguing all the shit that we have been trying to get our attorneys to argue since 2018. So it's like, literally all the odds are stacked against us, even our attorneys. Like, we couldn't even get a paid attorney out there to work for us, you know? We had this case and all, as far as like the money spent in our defense is over $140,000. All of that is after I went to trial though. After I went to trial, and all the work that I was doing while I was incarcerated, like, built up such a support for us that we were able to come up with money for Devontae's bond. We were able to come up with money to get him an actual attorney, you know? And that's where we're at now. Like, if I had sat there, or even if he had just sat there and let it happen like we were supposed to, we would both be in prison right now, serving life sentences for a crime we didn't commit.
7 Netflix documentaries 50 years later.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't get that time back at all, you know?
And you say you're writing a book too, huh?
Yeah, I got a book coming out. It's called I Killed a Man. The title is provocative. That's the only reason it's the title. Mm-hmm. But I got a book coming out called I Killed a Man. It's pretty much just about my experience going through pretrial incarceration, my experience going through the court systems, talks a little bit about my upbringing, what I learned going through all that, and just what I had to, the way I had to lock in for myself to effectively help myself. So I Killed a Man. For me, in my mind, there's a lot of me that I had to separate from while I was going through that process to get through that process. And now that I'm home, there's a lot of me that I have to separate from again that I inherited from that process that doesn't serve me any good with the life that I want to live or the things that I want to achieve or in the way that I want to help people, you know? Like I said, I was angry for a long time, bro. I was angry. I was so angry, especially after my trial. Because for me, it was like, damn, I waited so long, worked so hard, and I'm still here. You know, after sitting in trial for nearly a month with a prosecutor, like, creating the monster. And that's all the trial is. That's what they do. They paint a narrative. You're going to create this monster that you are and hope that this jury goes for it. You know, so, and you can't do anything. Your lawyer will advise you, hey, don't react to anything, don't make any facial expressions, don't show any emotions. So you just gotta sit like this. I couldn't do it. I'm in there taking notes. That's the only thing I could do is just sit there, take notes word for word. Everything that's being said, I'm just writing it down. Because I want to explode right now. Like, I want to speak for myself. But if I do, now I look like this monster that you're trying to make me. You know, I have to leave it up to my attorney who doesn't care enough to actually defend me. You're in a bad situation. So. Yeah, it was tough, for sure.
My question, where do you go from here?
Anywhere I want. I mean, there's no limit. I mean, right now I'm back doing a few of the things that I was doing before I got locked up. Rebuilding my personal training business. I'm managing artists again, hosting events. You know, we just had the South by event with DJ Bubba at 600 Entertainment.
And mind you, it takes a different type of courage and commitment to keep going out there because I love how we came around full circle because it's like, yeah, bro, you just hosted this event, but with South by Southwest, but it's the fact that you still have to go through those parts to get to Austin. So you're still taking that risk.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I actively work out there with a nonprofit, so I'm always out there. I mean, like I said, I move around a lot. I do work in Dallas.
That's not stopping you from going further. You're not letting that hold you back at all.
No, I can't, man. I can't. You know, there's times where it'll get to me. Like there's times where I wake up and I'm like, damn, I'm home for real. Still, I've been home for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
It's times where I wake up and I still like, you know, I appreciate it differently. You know, so it gets to me at times, and I have mental health issues now going through that process. I've never had mental health issues before, but now I have PTSD. I have depression. I'm depressed in a motherfucker at times, just for nothing, because of all the things that I endured and had to overcome, and all the ways that I had to be there for myself and others. Like I have real bad anxiety. Like I have ADHD in my adult years because and only because of I was incarcerated for 5 years. You know, like all these things that I'm dealing with now still. You know, and like I said, I'm not a citizen. I'm not from here. I'm an immigrant. So not only do I have to deal with the stigma of being somebody that was incarcerated and having this terrible thing attached to your name, I'm also not from here, you know? And not one time did any of my attorneys educate me on what any kind of conviction would have meant for my status being here. I'd be deported right now.
Really?
Any type of conviction, you ship me out. I'm overseas to a world that I left when I was 7, 8 years old and know nothing about now. You know? My attorney didn't educate me on none of that, but you're actively trying to encourage me and encourage my family to convince me to take a conviction for a capital murder. You know, so yeah, it's been tough. I just now got my license back. I've been home for almost 3 years. Just now got my license back because of all the hurdles and hoops that I had to jump through from being gone so long. Because when you're incarcerated, it's not like anybody knows you're incarcerated. It just looks like you stopped taking care of all your responsibilities, you know? So when you come home, some people come home with nothing. The only reason that I was able to carry on as effectively as I was able to is because I found a way to build a support around us. If I didn't have that support, if I didn't have Shannon let me stay at her house up in the hills, nice house up in the hills. We're going up to the hill. We're going up to the house and I come home. I'm in the back of the car. And I just remember I'm sitting in the back of the car in like the middle. It's an SUV. I'm sitting in the middle. And I'm sitting there like this because it's what I'm used to. I've been sitting for the last 5 years, going to court. You're shackled up in this tight dog catcher van. The walls right. You're just like this. So I'm used to sitting there. My mom is like, relax, like you're not in there no more. Immediately I got terrified. Because without knowing it, I got used to this world. You know, as hard as I tried not to, I still got used to this world subconsciously. And it didn't register for me, like I said, until that incident where I'm with this girl and we get pulled over. And then all this shit happens. Like, that's literally the week I wrote my book. I wrote my entire book in those 4 days after. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything. I just stayed up, sat on my balcony, smoked woods, and wrote, typed it up. Entire thing. It was a deep part of healing for me in that moment.
Amen. I know we're coming to the end of the episode right now. Honestly, bro, I wish I can keep this going. This needs to blow up. This needs to blow up. Like, I gotta pray over this and everything, bro. But is there any like concluding statements that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, don't give up. Whatever you're dealing with, like, if you've made it this far, for anybody at whatever level, if you've made it this far, like, why quit now? Like, why stop? Like, ultimately, you have a lot more control over your life and over your circumstances than you think. If you just lock in the way you need to, everybody knows how they need to lock in, regardless of what they're dealing with. You know, like,
Too right.
Everybody knows. Yeah, it helps to get that reassurance and hearing it from the people around you. But ultimately, with that reassurance, you're reminding yourself of something that you already know. That's why the Bible says, renew yourself in the spirit of the mind. Sometimes you need that reassurance from the outside, but ultimately it's something that you know you got to correct, you know? So just stay focused, stay locked in. If it's something you want to achieve, if it's something you want to overcome, I'm living proof that you can do it. I'm not supposed to be here. Like,
You're supposed to be here.
well, I'm supposed to be here. But a lot of energy was put towards trying to keep me from being here, you know. And in my lowest moments, God found a way to remind me first that I'm gonna be okay, and second, that I was very capable. And I ran with that. I locked in. When I wanted to quit, I went and helped somebody else that was dealing with something. Or I went to myself and read the Bible, read different books. Or I went and worked on something. I distracted myself from it. When I had the feeling of just saying, fuck it all, give up, I found something to distract myself. The only time that I almost gave up was after my trial. Because again, I was just so angry. Like, there was a moment where I walked through a whole dorm of 24 grown men and took all of their blankets because it's laundry day and my blanket goes missing and the guard's not trying to get me a new one. So I took everybody's blanket.
That's petty.
Petty, bro. Like, I was that angry. I took everybody's blanket and I took it to my cell and I said, hey, if you want your blanket, come get it. That's suicide in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was moments where I was that weak. There was moments where, well, not that weak, just that hurt.
But what happened after that?
Oh, nobody came to get their blanket. Nobody came to get their blanket. What happened after that? A bunch of guards came in, and then I got moved to another dorm. By that point, you gotta think about it. I've been in here for 5 years. Like, I've beaten up a lot of people that have tried me, but I've helped a lot more people than I have gotten into a situation with. Yeah. So, on top of a lot of people being afraid of me because they've seen how I've beaten up people, there's a lot of people that respect me. So, in moments like that, the ones that are afraid, they're not gonna try you. The people that respect you, they understand. They let you go with your move.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, stay focused, stay locked in, don't give up. If you think you can do it for sure.
Well, we're gonna close it out on that one. I can't wait to get this in, bro. Oh my goodness.
Your book is gonna touch millions, man. Like, it really is, for real. It's gonna touch millions, for real. Continue being a blessing, man.